There's a myriad of them, but one in particular I remember, probably about third grade. We had this teacher, Miss Heron, and she said, we're learning about the word minority.
Rob McElhenney has shocked Hollywood by exposing a hidden agenda involving his longtime friend Ryan Reynolds and Ryan's wife, Blake Lively. According to leaked texts and insider reports, Ryan and Blake were allegedly orchestrating a strategic PR campaign, one that involved manipulating media narratives and possibly using industry connections to reshape public perception. At first, the rumors seemed like typical Hollywood gossip. A-list actors using media strategies to protect their images isn't exactly new. But what Rob discovered went far beyond the usual celebrity damage control. The deeper he looked, the clearer it became that Ryan and Blake weren't just trying to manage bad press. They were allegedly manufacturing an entire scandal for their own gain.
But I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director.
Yeah.
And so I said, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of
it's
both.
like, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, kind of like my outfit, I guess.
This controversy has turned Hollywood upside down, with many now questioning the true nature of Ryan and Blake's power moves. Was this all a calculated plan to elevate Blake's career? And did Rob just shatter their carefully crafted image forever? But that was just the beginning, because what happened next was even worse than anyone expected.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what? Oh, no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds were Hollywood's favorite duo, best friends, business partners, and co-owners of Wrexham AFC, the football club they turned into a global sensation. Their chemistry on and off-screen made fans believe they had a genuine bond built on trust and mutual respect. For years, their friendship was seen as unshakable. They weren't just business partners, they were real friends, cracking jokes at each other's expense, supporting each other's projects, and making Wrexham more than just a football club. It became a worldwide movement. But what if that trust wasn't as strong as it seemed? Behind the scenes, Rob started noticing small red flags. At first, they were easy to ignore. Hollywood is full of calculated moves, and managing public image is part of the game. But over time, those red flags turned into serious concerns. He started hearing whispers, industry insiders dropping hints that Ryan and Blake were playing a much bigger game than anyone realized. And when Rob finally pieced everything together, he knew he had to make a choice. Would he stay silent and let Ryan and Blake continue their plan? Or would he expose the truth and risk everything? That's when he started digging deeper, and what he found changed everything.
I think the idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, there's people who care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
When Blake Lively was cast in It Ends With Us, it was supposed to be her big moment. The book had a massive fan base, and the film adaptation was expected to be a career-defining project for her. She was stepping away from the glamorous, lighthearted roles she was known for and diving into something serious, dramatic, and emotional. But from the moment filming began, things started falling apart. Reports of tension between Blake and director Justin Baldoni surfaced almost immediately. At first, it seemed like standard Hollywood drama. Actors and directors clash over creative differences all the time. But the stories kept getting worse. Some insiders claimed that Blake wasn't happy with Justin's direction, while others reported heated arguments on set. Rumors began circulating that Blake felt overshadowed by Justin, who wasn't just directing but also acting in the film. It looked like just another case of an actor and director not seeing eye to eye. But according to Rob, this was no accident. Because these leaks weren't just happening on their own. Someone was making sure they got out. And that's when Rob started asking questions and uncovered something shocking.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Rob had his suspicions, but it wasn't until the leaked messages surfaced that everything started making sense. Blake allegedly referred to her dragons in the texts, a term that insiders believe refers to her closest Hollywood allies, with Ryan being the most powerful among them. The messages suggested that Blake and Ryan weren't just reacting to bad press. They were actively creating it to shape the public perception of It Ends With Us. The plan was simple: create a fake controversy around the film. Make it seem like Blake was being mistreated on set, ensuring that the public saw her as the underdog fighting against difficult circumstances. If done correctly, this strategy would make sure that Blake came out of the situation as the victim, no matter what happened. Rob couldn't believe what he was reading. If this was true, it meant that Blake and Ryan were deliberately playing the media, not just to protect themselves, but to manufacture drama for their own personal gain. And that was only the beginning, because Rob discovered something even more shocking. For Rob, this wasn't just about Hollywood games. It was personal. Ryan wasn't just a business partner. He was a friend. They had built something together, and Rob believed in what they were doing with Wrexham. But once he realized Ryan was using those connections for his own personal agenda, everything changed. At first, Rob tried to handle things privately. He reached out to Ryan, hoping for an explanation. But Ryan's response wasn't what he expected. Instead of denying the allegations, Ryan brushed it off, acting as if it was just part of how Hollywood worked. That's when Rob realized this wasn't just a one-time mistake. This was deliberate. Then came the final straw. Leaked text messages revealed a conversation where Blake allegedly mentioned using Wrexham's media influence to keep the controversy surrounding It Ends With Us alive. That's when Rob knew he had to go public. And when he did, everything changed.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. Like, we had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yes.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than people who are indifferent.
Blase.
Once Rob spoke out, the entire industry took notice. Hollywood producers started distancing themselves from Ryan and Blake, worried that they had been manipulated into supporting a carefully orchestrated PR stunt. Blake's attorney suddenly dropped her as a client after allegedly seeing the full, unedited text messages. That was the moment when everything truly fell apart. For years, Ryan and Blake had built their careers on being likable, funny, and relatable. But now, people were questioning whether that image was ever real to begin with. And if history has taught us anything, Hollywood never forgets. It didn't take long for Hollywood insiders to start distancing themselves from the couple. According to reports, several producers and directors who were in talks with Ryan and Blake about upcoming projects suddenly backed out. The reason? Nobody wanted to be associated with a couple accused of manipulating the media for their own gain. This wasn't just about PR, it was about trust. In an industry where relationships and reputation are everything, being exposed as master manipulators was a massive red flag. One executive, speaking anonymously, said, "This goes beyond just protecting your image. Every star does that." But if it turns out Ryan and Blake were actively feeding this information to the press just to build a narrative, that's a different level. Nobody wants to work with someone who plays that kind of game. And it wasn't just film and TV producers stepping away. Major brands were watching closely, too. Perhaps the most damning moment in this entire controversy was when Blake Lively's attorney abruptly severed ties with her. At first, the couple tried to spin it as a routine change in legal representation, but insiders quickly revealed that there was much more to the story. According to sources, the attorney saw the full, unedited text messages and realized that what Blake had been telling the public didn't match reality. The lawyer reportedly felt uncomfortable defending a client whose version of events didn't align with the evidence. For many in Hollywood, this was the moment that confirmed everything Rob McElhenney had been saying. Because if even Blake's own lawyer didn't want to be associated with her, what did that say about the strength of her case? One legal expert weighed in on the situation, stating, "When a high-profile attorney drops a celebrity client in the middle of a scandal, it's usually because they've seen evidence that contradicts their client's claims. It's a huge red flag." Without legal backing, Blake is now more vulnerable than ever. Hollywood is no stranger to scandal, but not every celebrity recovers from one. Some stars are able to bounce back stronger, but others never recover. So, what does this mean for Ryan and Blake? Ryan, once seen as one of Hollywood's most likable figures, is now facing serious questions about how much of his persona is real. Was his entire image, his self-deprecating humor, his friendly public persona, just a carefully crafted act? Blake, who is already facing career struggles, now has to deal with accusations that she used personal drama to manipulate the media. But the real issue might not just be their reputations, it could be their marriage. Because behind closed doors, sources claim that Ryan and Blake's relationship is under more pressure than ever. Some believe that this scandal has exposed cracks in their marriage that were already there, and if this situation keeps getting worse, their carefully built empire could come crashing down. And if that happens, Hollywood will be watching every second of it. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively built their brand on charm, humor, and relatability. They were the Hollywood couple everyone loved, until now. But with Hollywood turning against them, brands reconsidering their partnerships, and Blake's lawyer abandoning her case, they are now facing the biggest crisis of their careers. So the real question is, will they fight to rebuild their reputations, or is this the beginning of their downfall? Will Hollywood forgive them, or will they become the next celebrities to fall from grace? Because in Hollywood, the truth always comes out. It's just a matter of time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was Rob right to expose them, or is this being blown out of proportion? Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's biggest scandals.